Hi, you're listening to Book Chat with author Vivian E. Moore.
Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode. We really appreciate you joining us. This podcast really shows us how we can all learn, live, and thrive off of each other. By sharing our knowledge through our conversations, we will impart some knowledge whilst learning ourselves how to progress even further. Here is your host.
Hello and welcome to Book Chat. I am your host, author Vivian E. Moore. I hope everyone is having a great weekend. I hope you had a great week. My week was going well, but then we experienced a death in the family. So I forced on so we could do the show for today. But next Saturday, we won't have a show because that will actually be the date of the funeral. So, but I don't want to bring you down. And, I'm trying to get to that happy place because we know that death is not an easy thing and people deal with it in their own way. But for me, the show must go on. So that's why I'm doing it today. And I'm always happy to be able to chat. It takes my mind away from things. So without further ado, we're going to get right into today's show. So the title of today's show is A Few of My Favorite Things, Part 2. And the topic is Best Books of 2019. At least it's my pick of the best books of 2019. So let me just say this first. I don't have deep pockets like Oprah for gift giving, but I did. But if I did, I would buy several hundred copies of the books on my list today just so I could say, you get a book, and you get a book, and you get a book. Okay. I had my Oprah moment. All right. So since I can, I can share with you my favorite books of 2019. Well, this is actually part 2 because I couldn't include all of them last time. So now I will conclude my list for 2019. So as you know, I am an avid reader and love to share the books that resonate within me with everyone or anyone who shares my devotion to great books. So, it is the Christmas season and it is the time for gift giving. And what better way to show your love for your family than to gift them with books? All right. So without further delay, number 10 on my list is Behind Closed Doors. And this book is by Claire Contreras. Now, I recommended this book by, I was recommended this book by one of my favorite authors. And so I'm glad she did. And if you love psychological thrillers tossed with a little romance, then this is the book for you. And it is also a New York Times bestseller and much deserved title because this book did not disappoint. It's very realistic. The characters they are peppered with normalcy, with just enough to hide what's taking place behind the scenes. Now, I don't want to talk too much about this book because I don't want to give too much of it away. But all I can say is, wow, this book had me on the edge of my seat. I love psychological thrillers and oh my gosh, and mystery and all of that just rolled all up into this book, all up into this story. So you need to get it, Behind Closed Doors by Claire Contreras. It's spelled Contreras because I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, so I'll spell it for you so you can write it down. All right, so number 9 on the list is All Grown Up by Vi Keelan. All right, so I know by now everyone has read one of Vi Keelan's books because she is a New York Times bestseller as well. And I am not surprised at all by this because this author has a slew of bestsellers out there. I love her. I read all of her books. And this book here, All Grown Up, appealed to me because of how skewed the system is for younger men and older women. We are, well, I'm not going to say we, but most people are okay with it being, older guy younger woman. And then when that coin is flipped, they want to call older women, younger man. They want to call us cougars. And that's not fair. That is not fair at all. Love is love. And, we don't get to choose who we fall in love with. And sometimes, the person may be a tad bit younger. And in this story, they were a tad bit younger. But it's such a great story. And I became an instant fan of this book for that reason alone. Now, it's not so much about the physical relationship between these two characters, but how their past, as well as our past, are always linked to our future. And, what goes around, it comes back to you. But in this story, it came back to them in a good way. So this book is all that and more. All right. So number 8 is Stoned in the Sea by A.L. Jackson. Now, A.L. Jackson has fast become one of my favorite authors as well. And if you like broken bad boy rock stars, then this is the book for you. And who doesn't like fallen stars and broken characters who need repair? Well, just don't take my word for it. Buy and read it for yourselves. Stone in the Sea by A.L. Jackson. That's another great book. All right, so number 7 on my list is Consolation by Corinne Michaels. And Corinne Michaels has been around for a very long time, and she is one of those authors who never disappoint in the storylines that she creates. And actually, this book, Consolation, is a series. She sort of does a stand-alone on many of the characters that are in this story. She have created those books. So you can see what happened to some of the other characters that were interesting. They weren't main characters in the story, but still, they had interesting parts. And so if you want to read more of Corinne Michaels' books, I definitely suggest that you do. But anyway, this is another fantastic book, and it is a happy ever after. It's sort of distorted now. The happy ever after is sort of distorted in this story, but it definitely lives up to the title, and it's packed with shocking moments, but you will absolutely love it. All right, so number 6 is Breaking Him by R.K. Lilly. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of this author or not, but this author is an international bestseller. Now, I can't tell you if R.K. Lilly is male or female because I don't know. But I'm going to say that it's a female writer. But anyway, Breaking Him is a series of books. I've read both of them. This one is called Breaking Him, and then the next one is called Breaking Her. And they're so wonderfully entertaining. And not to say that these books or comical, because they're not, but they pull at your heartstrings, and they will make you laugh, because there are parts in there that is funny, that will make you laugh. But it's deep and it's angsty, and it overflows with unrequited love, and why it is number 6 on my list. All right, so number 5 is The Silent Waters by Brittany C. Cherry, and it is one of those stories that linger with you for a while after you've read it. It's heartwarming, and it just blew me completely away. Now, if you love stories that pull at your heartstrings, here's one for you. All right, so number 4 is Alaska Wild by Helena Newberry. This was the first book. No, I take that back. I've read another book by her. I think it was called Dante's Storm, and that book was so exciting. And so I think it's why I wanted to read this book by her called Alaska Wild. Now, it's not what you think it is, but it is one of those books that will keep you on the edge of your seat because it is so exciting, and it is action-packed from the word go all the way to the end. If you are a fan of The Fugitive, then you will love this book. It takes place in the wilds of Alaska, and I think that's why she named it that. But anyway, it's a catch me if you can. It has a catch me if you can feel about it. But there's just one woman in this book who is smart and strong enough to see when things aren't what they appear to be. And this is a great read. And I don't want to give too much of it away, but you need to get this book and read it, because I kid you not, it is a very good story, and it is so exciting. And it kept my heart pumping. It really did. Kept it beating wildly. All right, so number 3 is Royally Screwed by Emma Chase. It is so elegant and so British. The male lead is royalty, and he is heavy on the arrogance, just as you would expect an heir to the throne to be. And I love the characters. And the female lead is strong, and she doesn't bow down to the prince's demands, but teaches him to compromise instead. And it is a great HEA, and we know HEA stands for Happily Ever After. All right, so number 2 on the list is In the Unlikely Event by L.J. Shin. Now, I'm pretty sure everyone is familiar with L.J. Shin. She's another one of those writers that she pumps the books out. It seems like she has a new book coming out, seems like every month, but I know that's not the case, but it just seems like that. But this book is one of her newest ones, and I wasn't sure. The title alone got me, so I wanted to read it. And it was a delightful read. It's funny when it needs to be, with just a dash of seriousness. And I need to be honest, when I tell you how much I love this book. I loved it simply because of the male lead, who is Irish. Now, I love any man with an intonation in their voice. Still, this book is classic L.J. Shin, who always knocks her stories straight out of the park. The title alone makes you want to read the story, just like I said. And trust me, you won't be disappointed. Now, I will be honest. It took me a couple of tries to start with this book, mostly because it had some things in it that it just wasn't my cup of tea. But it doesn't make the story bad at all. That's just my personal opinion about it. The book is awesome. And I have to tell you that, and I keep thinking about it, and it's why it's number 2 on my list, because it's one of those books that it sort of sticks with you too. I love the story. I love the characters. It's just wonderful. Second chance romances. So that would definitely fall underneath that heading of second chance romances. All right. So number 1 on my list is The Restorer. And I finally figured out why this book was not on my list last time, because I couldn't have 2 number 1 books on the first list that I gave you. So here we go with the number 1 on this list that closes out 2019. Now, The Restorer is part of the Graveyard series by Amanda Stevens, and it is phenomenal. If you are a fan of the supernatural, then I highly recommend you read these books. And this is top-notch fantasy, folks. Now, I am a little puzzled as to why this author hasn't reached bestseller status, because she should be, because these books are so well written and the details work to perfection. I've never been so engrossed in a story since A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness, and that's another one of my favorite books. And that book was number 1 on my last list, by the way, so I had to give it an honorable mention today as well. But anyway, The Restorer takes place in the sultry South, and you can't help but get pulled into the very deep depths of your souls by this book. And I recommend you stuff Christmas stockings with this one. And it is at the top of my list because it deserves to be there. I loved all of these books that are on my list. And I have so many more that I couldn't put on the list, because it would take me forever and a day to get through them all, because I read so many books and I love so many of the books I read. And it's the main reason why I want to share them, with you, so you can go and read them as well. And I just, I can't keep a good thing to myself, I have to share it. And so I enjoyed reading these stories, and I know you will too. And even if you don't read books, you need to buy them, because it is Christmas time. It's time for gift giving. So you need to put this on your Christmas list. So when you go out and shop now, if you have certain loved ones that don't actually want to pick up a physical book and read it, you can get them. These books are all available in ebook form, And also, they're available in audio. So you can go to Audible, and a lot of them are on the romance list. And that's a good thing. And if you're not familiar with that, that is something that Audible started a while back here. It's part of that package. It's part of the package. It's an additional cost, but it's not that much. I think it's like $5 and something a month. And but you can read as many books as you want, because if you are familiar with Audible, then you pay your subscription fee. And, depending on which one you choose, you only get one book a month. So you only get that one credit a month. But if you have the romance package added in with that, then you can read as many titles as you want every day if you want to. You can get up to 10 at a time. And once you get those 10, then you can't add any more to the list until you've read those, or read one, knock it off, and then get something new. But anyway, it's wonderful. So just remember to, to buy books, because, books are great. They make great gifts. And you can't go wrong with that. And I hope that you've enjoyed the list that I shared with you today, because I definitely enjoyed it. But before I let you go, I always want to tell you ways to keep in touch with the show, to listen to the show. Even if you don't listen to it, listen to the live version on Saturdays. You can definitely listen to it on many other platforms anytime you want to. But anyway, the first one is Spreaker, and it is https://www.spreaker.com/user/author Vivian E. Moore. You can follow me, like me on Facebook, on Twitter, and Instagram. All you need to do is type in my name, Author Vivian E. Moore, and it will bring me up on each one of these social media platforms. All right. So, and also you can go to my website, which is https://authorvivianemore.com. And also, if you follow my blog, read my blog, if you don't have the URL, it is https://vivianemore.blogspot.com. And again, all the places where you can listen to the show. You can listen to it, of course, on Spreaker. You can listen to it on iTunes. You can listen to it on iHeartRadio. You can listen to it on YouTube, SoundCloud. What else? There's a couple more that I can't think of because they're new, that it was just added to here a few weeks ago. But I gave you the complete list last week. And two, if you go to my Instagram page or my Facebook page, you can look at the, because I always announce what the show is what's going to be discussed on the show every Saturday. So you can go to my Instagram post and you can look at that and just scroll down, and it will it'll give you the URL of every platform where you can listen to Book Chat with Author Vivian E. Moore. So that's a wonderful thing, and I'm glad that I can share that with you. So, of course, tomorrow is Worship Day, and I hope that you're planning to go to church tomorrow, and to take some family members with you, take some friends, some neighbors, and most definitely take some children with you. And remember to tell someone that you love them, because tomorrow is not promised. Today may be the only chance you get to say that. So I love you. I hope you love me back. Until the next time you hear my voice, God bless you, and goodbye.
Loved what you've heard on this week's episode? Well, the answer is simple. It would mean the world to us if you could head over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review and feedback. Spreading the word really is the best way to grow our podcast and achieve even greater things. Thank you.